Several months ago, I did a live video expressing how to create samples and use them within Cakewalk by Bandlab using the free sampler, the TX16WX. I've edited everything to hopefully make it a smoother transition throughout the video. It is a pretty long tutorial, but I hope you enjoy it. All right, take care. Ooh, that hurts. Now it sounds like I'm scratching. I always like to capture sounds and samples like wherever I go. So I remember I went to Vegas, like I don't know if it was a few weeks ago, a month ago or so. Oh, back in May actually. And I wanted to capture the sound of the airplane because I thought it was pretty cool the way it sounded. So I have all of these samples that I actually brought in from my iPhone. And then earlier today, so I have my washer and dryer. Let me mute all the rest of this so you can see what I'm talking about. I have my washer and dryer that makes this little crazy noise. Because if you ever seen my video that's on here about how I fixed my dryer, then you understand that I had to do some repair on my dryer. But it makes this little noise that's kind of funny to me. Let me see if I can pull it up so you can hear what I'm talking about. So here it is. So I kind of like that sound, and every time that I hear it, I always be like, I should add that to whatever I'm working on. So I decided to add it today. I got a little vitamin C cough drop in my mouth. So if you hear me making all this noise, I do that quite a bit in my videos. I apologize for that. My camera looks like it's off a little bit. Maybe I should move it over more this way. Is that better? Oh yeah, it looks way better. All right. Oh, maybe I should turn this light on too. Yeah, add a little more brightness to me. Okay. All right. So we are in here and we're using this TX16WX2, which I've actually talked about before on one of my other live answering questions. And I think I had a few people that asked me about using samplers and so I talked about this software before, but it was really hard for me to understand how to use it, or I couldn't remember how to use it. So I kind of got it down, well, not down pat, because there's so much stuff that you can do with it. But this is just the basic functionality of it. So what I did is I created this track. Actually, let me move this track up. Let's move it right here. Okay. So I had it here originally. I took all of these as samples, right? I've got a dryer clothes. That sounds like this. Okay. All right. And then I have my airplane noise. Okay, you can hear that. And then I have the dryer timer. Because the timer like twitches in there. Okay. All right. And then this is the washer close. It sounds slightly a little bit different. Okay. And you can hear some ring in there. So I'm kind of playing around with these now. This is what I've done so far. I opened this up. Basically, I loaded one sample in here. The only thing I loaded right now is a dryer clothes. So I loaded the sample in. I just drag and dropped it. And then once I drag and dropped it, you can click on regions. You can click on waves. You should be able to see the waves. Once you see the waves, then you can go to what's called splice beat and then splice sample into even parts. You can use this if you want to, or you can splice it over here, beat transient and splice. I'll just start off with doing splice into even parts, and then you can take these and adjust them like I've got that here. Okay. Okay. Now some of these, of course, they won't line up perfectly rhythmically, but if you move them around, shift them around to different 16th notes or 32nd notes, whatever beat they fall on, then they should line up the way you want them to line up. All right, so once you have basically dragged it, all you do is wait till you see two arrows. You can drag it that side, drag the other side, get your clip where you need to do. If you need to zoom in, you can zoom in on it. If you need to zoom out, you can zoom out on it. Now there's a whole bunch of things in here. You can save this so that way you can open it up later on. Like say you want to save these samples and then you want to open it up another time, you can go ahead and save it. So once you have it basically cut the way you want it or spliced the way you want it, all right, then you can right click and then you can go to splice, layout, splices, or delete all splices or splices to waves or remove overlap. Layout splices is what you want to do. And then once you do that, it's going to add those to the keys. All right. Now you can use this with your keyboard controller, or you can use a piano roll, or you can use a step sequencer, whatever way you want to go about. Or you can use a virtual controller, which is including Cakewalk. Whatever way you want to go about doing this. Sorry, this cough drop is really good, but I keep sucking on it. I'm so sorry if you hear all that extra noise. Once it adds it to these keys, now you're not limited right here. Now you can zoom in so you can see them better. You can move these keys around. So if I want to drag this one over there, I can drag it over there. If I wanted this note to cover more than one key, I can stretch it out. Stretching it out just means that all the notes that I stretch it out to are going to play the same note. Now, if I want to tune this note, say if you want to tune the beat or tune the sample, what you want to do is drag this down a little bit. So say this is C4. Okay. All right. If I wanted to tune that one down, I want to go to what's called the root note. So I'm going to set the root note as C4. Actually, there's a few other things you can do. You can adjust the shift, you can adjust the tune, attenuation, the release, the sustain. You can adjust the root and you'll see it go up the keyboard. So if I set it to C4, now if I stretch this note out, okay, you can notice it's going up and down. Or if I want to go out even more, okay. Now I know you're probably going to ask me, well, once it stretches or once it lowers the pitch of the sound, how do you keep it in the same tempo? Well, there's a few different ways you can do that in Cakewalk. You can do like a audio snap. You can do it that way. I believe that in here there's a way to do it. This is like just a beginner tutorial for me, really not for you, but really for me. I'm just happy to let you observe as I like actually do this. But for now, I'm not really worried about the root note because I don't need the root note. So I should be able to delete this, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I deleted it now. Okay, that's just back there. Once you have all of these up there and you know what note you want them on, you have them the way you want. I'm not even really worried about trying to get them adjusted, sounding good here. I mean, you can go down here to the sampler part and you can do some adjustment down here, like X fade, you know, the release or whatever you need to do. I'm not worried about all that here. I'm just mainly using this just to get the sound split up the way I want them or spliced the way that I want them. And then once I have them there, I can go into, I've got the step sequencer pulled up right now, and I just recorded a snare drum part. So, or I just programmed the snare drum part. So this is my snare drum part. Okay. All right. And after I did that, so this actually comes in, it has like a transient that comes in before the actual downbeat. Okay, so that little preceding, okay, I made it kind of like a reverse note basically. So instead of putting it on beat 1, I put it on the 16th note before. So that means when it falls on beat 1, I adjusted the time a little bit so the way it fits a little bit more, and I used the whole duration, because if you lower the duration of it, then you only will use, it'll like basically cut the decay of the note. So in this case, it's still not giving me the whole decay, but if I made it shorter, okay, if I played it, let's solo this track, okay, and you can see how short it is. Yeah, but if I take it all the way up, okay, so you actually hear the note. And if I take it all the way down, you hear nothing. So you want to play with that duration to get it the way you want. If you want the whole transient, the whole entire note, you can always like fade it in and fade it out wherever you want it, or you can, you know, adjust it, whatever you want to do later on. So once I have it input it here. All right, I did 8 beats. Then I exit out of that. And then what you can do is you can freeze the track. And I think I did that. Did I do that down here? Bass, yeah, okay. So here's the snare drum part right here. I freezed it. You can just press freeze. All right, and then you can take that, press control, and then you can drop it down below, and now you created an audio track of it. That way you don't mess with the main track, you just create an audio track. So that way you just deal with audio. Then I can go in there and adjust this track by itself. So let me mute these so you can hear what I got sound. So now my bass drum, this is what bass drum sound is like. Okay, this is what it sounded like originally. If I turn off the effects, I've also got EQ, got 2 EQs on it. That's what it sounded like originally. Okay, once again, this is like me shutting the door on the dryer, I think. Yeah, just a dryer. Turn these back on. And I do have a gate on my microphone right now, so if you hear it kind of come in and out. All right, so I have my bass drum there, and basically I just duplicated those 2 bars to make 4 bars. Okay, so I can loop this if I needed to. All right, and then this is my hi-hats now. So okay, so for the hi-hats, what I did while I was in the sampler, I actually swung them ever so slightly. Normally be at 50%, I put it at 52%. And I did a lot of work with EQ. Once again, I'm using 2 EQs on this. Here's what it sounds like without the EQ. Okay, you can tell it has a lot of low end in it. It's very dull sounding. To get it to sound like an actual hi-hat, you know, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. I took all the low ends and most of the mid ends out, and then same thing on here. And I boosted the high end on this one. All right. I do have a velocity set on it, so not every note is like, it's not, okay, it's kind of like going up and down, so I can always adjust the velocity more if I wanted to have it more realistic. You know, knowing that a drummer doesn't hit the exact same every single time. Like, it's not the exact same placement on the hi-hat pattern. So you want that to be more realistic as much as possible. All right, so I have the hi-hat there, and then here's my snare. Okay, and then when I put those together, okay, all right, so you know you just caught me. I haven't copied this all the way yet. I'm gonna roll this back. All right, copy it. Just press Control, drop it. It should be good. Okay, I think I want. Okay, so I actually don't want. I forgot that I didn't really want this right here. So I don't want this first one. I forgot to do that. I just kind of wanted to come in late. I wasn't thinking about that early when I was working on it. Okay. All right, so I've got that. Let's save that too as well. Now I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this snare. It's like a side stick, basically, is what it sounds like. Let's put a. Okay, I'm gonna put another. I will put a gate on it. Do I want to put a compressor on it? No, I'm just gonna put the EQ on it. Again, let's try the pair EQ. Let's see what that sounds like on this. Presets in here. High cut, high boost. Okay. Let's loop this real quick from here. Okay. Ooh, that hurts. Now it sounds like I'm scratching. Okay, that'd be cool if I was going for like some thunder or wind. If I was going for something real scary and sci-fi. That sounds more like a car going by now. Okay, let's do something different. TS64 transient shaper. It's loud. Oh my god, that's very loud. Let's do something else. I'm just playing around with stuff, y'all. I don't know what I'm really doing, to be honest. Sometimes it's all about not knowing what you're doing. All right, tube leveler dynamics. Compressor. Filter. Mod filter. Preset. Filter mode, EG, LFO. Sine wave, triangle. Nice reverb. Turn the early reflection down, son. It's coming along, you all. It's coming along, you all. I'm just making something and don't really know what I'm making, but I'm just going with the flow. All right. So we call this low. I'm gonna call it end bass, maybe. Boom, 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 boom. That's what it almost sounds like. All right. What else can we mess with? All right. So we've done with that. Uh-oh. Cakewalk just failed on me. Oh yeah, I imagine that could happen because I was doing too much audio processing.